Tickling your communist cornhole with the feather of freedom. It's Post Politics live Sunday night. J-Rev Radio, Raz Radio Live, Salty Talk Radio, Radio Chaos, IPMNation.com, and the YouTubes. Right? Are we good here, bud?
Yeah, we're kind of. Yeah, no, and like, of course, like right when. So what happened? What happened is that actually when we went to go, for some reason we went to go live on like YouTube, and we went and then see on my screen I can see both what the audience is seeing, and then I can also see me and you on webcam like in my other screen, so I can see us both going, like even during the break, like when you're looking at the other screen I can see you in cam, right? So for some reason froze while you were doing air drums to the opening track. And so I had to refresh it. So while you were asking, I was like trying to adjust real quick so we could be good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good now.
We're good now. Okay, rock on. Rock on.
We're good. But yeah.
All right. So yeah, we've got that. I guess a kind of a take back, because we should have brought this up when we talked about it. And this came out like a day or two after the Monique thing that we did about why she should be getting Chris Rock and Amy Schumer money.
Yeah.
And Amy Schumer came out and said she should be getting Chris Rock money, but it's like, you did a Netflix special and I attacked it brutally. I can't look. If you look at the release date of whatever that Amy Schumer, that last one, I think it's a Leather something or another on Netflix.
Yeah.
Look at the release date, and then the next show following that, the next show date that we have following that is probably the one where I brutalized it that much. But she did like between 30 and 40 minutes on just talking about semen.
Yeah.
Like,
but that's kind of like, and that's the deal. That's what we were talking about. That's her shtick. It's like, look, I'm a whore. Like, and it's.
But it's like, dude, like, I don't care. Just change positions. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
if that,
you know,
talk about for an hour and a half, change positions. But she like harped on this one bit that just kept on going and going on semen of all things for like, you know, for like damn near 30 minutes.
Yeah, which I mean, and that's kind of the thing too, right? Like, I mean, even then, that shit might be funny for a second, but I don't care what joke it is. Nobody wants to hear the same joke for that long. You know what I mean? Like, and I think too, it's nobody wants to hear the same joke every fucking special. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And that's the deal. Like, if you just learned, if you just learned a new way to tell the same fucking joke, nobody wants to hear it. You know?
You're a woman that's a little bit thicker than Hollywood would like, and you're a whore. We get it. We just summed up your whole act in 5 seconds versus a minute, an hour and a half.
What's even better is, and obviously we'll get into this in a little bit, but I mean, what's even better is that the shape that she is, like, you can make the claim that Hollywood doesn't like her size, right? But if you were to look at the world, there's pretty much verifiable proof, I'd say, that most guys are comfortable with that size. Like, I mean, you go look at like who men are dating, like, I mean, who men are with, right? And it's not like most men are with Hollywood-sized women. That's not the case. You know what I mean? They're usually with women about her size. And she's not like grotesquely huge or something, even though she likes to paint that picture.
It's like, after having kids, there is probably 5% of the woman population outside of Hollywood people that are able to like snap back, or they carry that thin body like throughout their pregnancy. Most women, their bodies are going to be not completely, but their bodies are never going to bounce back to what they were before they had a kid.
Like, yeah, dude. I mean, there's a reason that you can, like, I mean,
90% women are in that fucking boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's not, I mean, here's the thing. What's so damn cool about human nature is that guys are attracted to the, like, a mom body type deal. Like, and because of the fact that, especially when you're older, right? Like, older guys are like, no, that's a mom, dude. That's a woman right there. You know, like, and that's Louis C.K.'s bit I'm not going to go into, but yeah, he does that.
Yeah.
And It really is like it's a normal thing, and that's why it's one of those things that like, oh yeah, you may be special in the in the Hollywood world, but you're not anything special out here. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So yeah, whatever.
Never mind, your uncle is Chuck Schumer, but yeah,
yeah,
north there. That had nothing to do with her career.
No, of course not. Yeah, no.
Quick rundown. I found this just like an hour ago.
Ah.
But this is going to be a fun discussion. This is out of Vice.com. Social media sites can't decide how to handle non-offending pedophiles. We'll feed baby birds. We'll come. But okay.
Oh, dude, we haven't even talked about this one yet. So it's just, that's great. Just right off the bat, that sounds absolutely. That's going to be a blast.
And holy shit. Wow, that's really the only thing that I've shared on the post. I've been a busy boy the past.
Yeah, man. I mean, to tell you the truth, dude, I'm a huge fan of when we just
riff it.
Yeah, when we just kind of go at it and talk, man. I enjoy that shit. So
if we get steamrolling, that is though. If we get steamrolling, it's good. But you never know what.
If not, it sucks. But that's fine.
Sometimes
it'll happen.
Gotta know when to hold them. Yeah. You know what it is.
You know the deal.
Right. You get it. And we've got some stuff on the Journalistic Revolution site, some articles that were plucked as well. Man, I really got to start making notes, man. The Olympics are going on. Everybody's making a big deal. Look, man, like all these memos and all this inner turmoil, and it's like, what this is really doing, I want to have a discussion about this because I'm kind of left on the outside of a lot of this stuff that's going, memos and people I've never heard of getting fired, and these other people I've never heard of that are, on the other side of the political aisle are in trouble, and no one knows who's telling the truth. And it's like, this is the shit we've been saying about how unimportant a lot of this stuff is, but that's the media cycle now. It's nothing but like gotcha moments of political corruption from and it's the Democrats and the Republicans fighting each other. And then, another majority of Americans going, we told you that they were all crooks and liars and thieves for how many decades now?
Yeah, until it's voting season. And then,
and then vote for your favorite
lying thief.
Right. That political party, whatever.
Those guys. Whichever one's your favorite at the time.
What a bunch of douchebags. Yeah. This was something I wanted to get to this too. I shared this. We didn't get to it last, or I guess it was Wednesday night. 18-year-old said she was raped while in police custody. Officers say she consented. So we did like a little bit of that at the end of last episode, but we didn't really plunge deep into a lot of it because we just kind of ran out of time for the night. But I wanted to get into that too. So we will go ahead, hit the intro, everybody, and get back railing on whatever. Might take calls, might not. I don't know. We'll figure that out. I don't know if we've figured that out on the
no, I mean, we can take them. It just pops the, I still got your screen over there because me and you haven't, I need to adjust your webcam shit. I mean, it looks fine, but, fit it in the box and all that. But, yeah, it's not a big deal, man. We'll be good. So,
Rock on.
We can do calls.
We'll hit on all that shit when we return. Stay tuned. 2 minutes. More Post Politics coming up next.
And the sad part is that most people seem to have been indoctrinated to believe that bullshit only comes from certain places, certain sources. Advertising, politics, salesmen. Not true. Bullshit is everywhere.
The NWO Fighter, the show that gets America its balls back.
And you've got to put your bodies upon the gears and upon the wheels, by all the apparatus, and you've got to make it stop. And you've got to indicate to the people who run it, to the people who own it, that unless you're free, the machine will be prevented from working at all.
I don't want to put a violent connotation on it, but this is a war zone. I'm talking about my life and yours.
If you're not on some government list by now, you're doing something wrong.
After 8 years of lies and hypocrisy, people love this guy. Leads me to a very disturbing question. How far up your ass does this guy's dick have to be before you realize he's fucking you?
It's good for kids, too.
I mean, you're born absolutely free except for laws of nature. If you drink, you get drunk. That's a law. If you get old, you die. That's a law, too. If you sit on a tack, you will bleed from the ass. These are the only laws that you're born with, and any government just fucks you out of that type of freedom.
If you're not involved by now, you are just as much at fault as our oppressors.
I was terrified when my doctor told me that I had a unique and interesting personality trait.
It's post-politics with Tripp here.
All right, everybody, back at it once again. You know what time.
Woo! Yes.
Respect. I was just talking to Brittany, and like one of her cousins who is just like, he's a Florida boy. Now, what we have said, if you're new to the show especially, is I live in Florida now, right? But me and Zack consider ourselves Southerners. I grew up in Georgia and South Carolina. These Florida boys try real hard, like more than anybody else, to try to prove that they are just the same as people that live in Texas, Tennessee, Georgia, Alabama, like all these other like real southern states. Like we're not integrated by Yankees down here and Canadians and the elderly, but
and
we
everybody
are.
else, yeah.
Right. So
yeah.
But anyway, I love him. He's a great guy. He really is. He'll fucking take the shirt off his back for you. But they did a gender reveal thing for their new. Now he had a daughter a couple like a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And did a gender reveal thing with a golf ball. That's one I've never seen before. So
no,
like him,
I haven't either. Yeah.
His old man went golfing and he went to go hit the ball, and it's just like it exploded into fucking like pink dust. Right?
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah.
It's like I guess it's kind of cool, but it's also like we're having another girl. And
shit. Yeah.
I was just busting his balls because he's like one of these big, working on trucks. Works does countertops for a living, and he's a man's man. Yeah, he's a little bit younger than us, but
yeah,
I think he's like in his late 20s now. But I told Brittany, I was like, yeah, fucking another beta male out there, just having two girls or whatever.
Can't get one out, can you? Yeah.
Right.
Damn. Yeah.
Yeah. Can't pass one of those Y chromosomes through your fucking seed there.
Yeah, I'm telling you, man. Dude, I used to work in a radar squadron when I was in the military still, man, and they had like the radar, and I don't know how true this is. It's one of those things that everybody said, right? And I was a vehicle mechanic, so I didn't really work on the radars, right?
Sure.
But they say that if you're in radar, that the fucking
it'll fry your boys.
No, that it kills Y chromosomes. So like, and then of course the only ones that were all of us that had kids while we were there all had girls. And there's like 7 of us, dude, all girls. And you're like, what the fuck, man? Maybe this shit is true. And people be like, the radar guys are like, nah, man, it is, dude. You'll be able to have girls or boys when when you leave later on, but it takes some time for your body to, kick those bad boys back out. But yeah, I don't know how true that was, man. But yeah, it was like, well, fuck, dude, I get out of the radar squadron and I can't just like have all girls because of my job. That sounds dumb.
I got these buddies of mine that are twins, actually. Twin boys, and their dad had 4 boys. They've got the twins are our age, and then their brother is like in his early 40s, and then their younger brother is like probably by this time like mid 20s.
All right,
like mid 20s now, but he's like one of 7. He's like a 7th son. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And he's the only one out of all of them that had all boys. So like I've seen them, and these are just like they're like fucking hyena coyotes. You know what I'm saying? Like their family is like one of the most ball breaking people. Like you'll ever see in
I'm sure, dude. Like, I've got like one of my best friends, man. He's got all boys. He's got 3 boys, and it's 2 twins and just a regular boy, I guess. And like I was about to say it, like
might be trans down the road.
Yeah, I was saying it, and I'm like, oh fuck, what's the alternative, right? Like, yeah, but so yeah, it is, dude. It's an absolute fucking nut house, and it's not because like they don't fucking discipline their boys or anything, right? It's just that like you can just, dude, if you have kids, dude, you can just see the difference in boys and girls, especially at that young age, and it's like, dude, there's a difference, like just really like, I'm in a house with all women and go over there and just boys just fucking running around like crazy. You know what I mean?
I had a pretty calm time from probably about like 4.5 till like 16, 17.
Yeah.
Like I was a pretty like mild mannered, like cool, calm kid. And it just like, but I was a savage, like before, like birth to 4, just an insane person. So I guess the point is that I hope my boy has the same thing that I did, and we're gearing towards the end of this reign of terror.
Yeah,
and, he's just a savage, Dude,
yeah, if I can ring it in.
Speaking of children, social media sites can't decide on how to handle non-offending pedophiles. Now,
God damn.
We're going to carry this into past this break. I want to get into the article a little bit, but we definitely need to open up some dialogue about this because it's something that we haven't approached at full capacity and full response to things like Twitter, Facebook, and silencing conservative voices. Now, I'm not putting on my Johnny Republican hat here, but it's that people, and we're talking about celebrities too, like, Anthony Cumia is one of them. He's had to restart his whole Twitter profile because of some other shit recently. There's been a handful of people that have been kicked off of Twitter that are conservative voices that really didn't do, like, there's liberal people calling for violence against state officials on Twitter, and those people get to continue to have their followers not get kicked off and whatever, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, we're going to get into the meat of this article, but I just kind of want to preface by saying probably on the other side of this this break, we really need to open that up. And not, like I said, not to put on my Johnny Republican hat, just to say that all of these things, what we're watching on commercials, what is being geared towards in advertising, what is being done in workplace environments, everybody's terrified that they're going to lose their gig if they don't, like, bow to
the
correctness and the correct terminology,
the mainstream narrative, or
right,
whatever. Yeah,
we might get a little bit more into the Jordan Peterson stuff too. I know we didn't touch too heavily on that.
Which seems like the most logical guy to be attacked out of all of them. Like he's like just the most professional, and I mean, I realize that he does take a side to a certain degree, right? But not so much. Like, I mean, at least in his side, and at least that's what I'll say that I've seen, right? Is that most of his side stuff seems to be based in, like, no, I feel this way just because of this, and then boom, 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 boom. He doesn't seem like he's just a loyal party guy, is kind of my deal.
Not at all. But did you get to watch the whole Joe Rogan?
Man, I don't think I saw like the last like 10 minutes of it, but I saw the majority of it. Yeah.
Wow, that really like made me believe this guy. Like the way that he broke it down is like, that is really what the questions that everybody should be asking themselves. Yeah. Why do we feel like this? What is the symptom?
Yeah, there was actually a couple times that I felt like Joe Rogan was and probably intentionally, but was like giving him like a party line type question, and he kind of went around it to be like, no, like Not because Republicans or because of conservatism, but because this is how I feel about it, and this just is what makes sense, kind of deal. And so, it was, I thought it was.
It made a lot
more respect for the guy than I had before.
But what I got from it, I guess the meat of probably like 30 to 45 minutes of that podcast that they had together, I was sitting there really contemplating a lot of this, and of course, like it felt a lot in line with how I feel. Yeah. But I also had that's the greatest thing. I mean, that's why we do what we do. What we've always said, the conversation is what's important. So hopefully you see all this stuff day in and day out, and you scroll through your Twitter and your Facebook feeds, but you tune into not putting us on the level of Rogan, of course, but you tune in to talk radio, and if you're a talk radio junkie like I am, and you listen to different shows and different podcasts and whatever, it gets you on a level of like, I never thought of that before. And you're actually having a mental discussion with what you're hearing over the radio or on the podcast that you're watching or whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So
no, absolutely. There's times I got to go like, depending on what what medium I'm listening to it on, like I've got to go rewind or go back to something because I was thinking over them talking, and I'm like, oh shit, dude, I didn't hear what they said because I was furthering that discussion in my head. So now I got to go back,
But I was just bringing that up just to say that there was something like that happened to me while I was listening to that at work. That it was kind of like what I got out of this whole social justice PC culture, thing that's been going on that I had never really thought of before was like people are trying to desperately enact a cure. And it's like, well, it's like the flu vaccine pretty much. It's like, well, I think that like most people don't have the type of flu that the flu vaccine is actually for. So that's pretty much what we've been doing with the not us personally, but
we hit each other with last year's fucking flu and catch a new one, and it's kind of the same. Absolutely,
the culture has kind of snowballed into of that whole process is desperately trying to find a cure for racism, for inequality, or for whatever, and it's like,
and it seems like, given you basically we're shoveling a shit ton of it in the other direction rather than like I don't know. I mean, that seems to be kind of what it seems to be to me. It's like, oh, let's get rid of racism. So the way that we get rid of racism is, since the scales are kind of like, this, let's grab it and go like this. And then it's like, well, that doesn't, no, like you do that with it.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Meanwhile, what you've really done is turned a white guy that might find racial humor funny and might say a black joke at a party surrounded by white people from time to time into like full blown like Charlottesville torch carrying fucking neo-fascist. You know?
No, I mean it is. It's bullshit that they
That's what you caused. You know what I'm saying?
No, I mean that's the thing is that you have to realize when you.
I'm just saying,
No, like and it's not I'm not saying it's right, but I'm saying that just natural human reaction a lot of time is to get on the defensive, and sometimes that defensive drives them into a extreme that they may not have even intentionally been going to. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that happens a lot.
But it's like, I feel like that, and we talk, I guess the easiest example for me to bring up, especially within, and people could say what they want to, is somebody like Cantwell. Like Cantwell was somebody that was like on the right path. Like he got me to denounce minarchism. Like we were all on Caleb's show actually the first time that I was like, yeah, you know what, this whole constitutional thing and Ron Paul, like, I was like, I didn't, diss Ron Paul or anything, but I was like, fuck that, trying to change it from the inside. Just be morally upright. You know what I mean? Taxation is theft and non-aggression principle and the whole bit. Like that was like Chris consistently preaching that was something that got me into like voluntarism and things like that. Like people like Chris, Caleb, Ben Farmer even. You know what I mean? And Ben Farmer is heading up a political campaign for the for the LP. Caleb, as much as I love him, is a vegan now, but of course he's done great things for parents' rights movement, and and still considers himself to be an anarchist, etc. So, and Chris Cantwell, of course.
Yeah.
That's no.
Is he still? He got out on bond or something now, didn't he? Or is he still?
I don't know. I haven't even been following.
I haven't either. I haven't looked at it at all.
But that was something that was a line in the sand where it was all of a sudden the other side, instead of coming to center, the other side is pushed back so hard that to somebody like Chris and many other people with that same ideology went, okay, we got to scale back what I really want to happen, and I have to scale back my moral fortitude in order to fight these people that are making it difficult to achieve the ultimate goal that I would like to see. You see what I'm saying? Like fuck, voluntarism's on hold for right now because we have to.
I want to do that, and I actually heard Cantwell say, or read Cantwell saying that a few times of like, that's the goal kind of deal. But this is the action to achieve that goal kind of deal.
Yeah, we can't conceive and come to full fruition and total explosive of consciousness when we have cancer. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's kind of like the line of thinking. It's like, no, we got to fight this fucking cancer first before we, get to the whole deal. Yeah. And I'm not like taking up for Chris at all. I'm just saying like that was somebody that I personally saw make that sort of odd transition. And to me, like the social justice thing truly is, it's a cancer amongst society. It's changed business. It's changed advertising. It's changed government institutions and the way your children are raised outside of your control. And not only that, you can say, well, don't take your children to government indoctrination centers. That's all fine and dandy if you really want to do that. But B, also, it's changed the culture of the fucking friends of your kids play with, their parents, and they're raising their kids. You can't expect everybody to be, a voluntarist or a libertarian. No. If you ask people questions, most of them lean libertarian-esque, but
well, I would argue that it's going to be a little bit more difficult for some of those kids too. And obviously, man, for anybody that's about to start like nitpicking on what I'm saying right now, like I realize that it's not the case with everything, and I'm not talking about every little nitpicky ass situation, but I will say that like it's probably going to be harder for your kids to deal with people that disagree with them and disagree with them vehemently, like loudly. That is going to be like if you've been in a little fucking tank full of yes men your whole fucking life, you get out there and somebody completely disagrees with you and they're a fucking asshole, you're probably not going to know how to defuse that situation because you've never been in it.
That was something that I've has just been a strength of mine my entire life, and I didn't even notice it until just probably a few years ago, is that like I had that outcast outsider's perspective my entire life. And it when I was a kid, I got sad and depressed and why does nobody get me? It's like, I don't think like the rest of these people. And, therefore like I'm cast aside from, not just like the popular group, but it's like, you got to find a band of misfits that are, intellectually on your level. Not to say I'm Mr. Smart Guy or nothing, but it was like, I'm not with the populace,
I mean, dude, I was a lot more I was a lot less aggressive and a lot less fuck what anybody thinks when I was younger. And I kind of grew into that and I'll say like a little bit of it was that whole kind of fake it till you make it mentality, right? Like a kind of, you kind of grow into it where you're like, no, that is who I am deal. But, dealing with more people and dealing with harder situations and things like that, you learn, because you obviously, when you've never actually interacted with somebody who just absolutely disagrees or absolutely dislikes you just because, things like that, if you've never faced that kind of shit, you're not going to know how to deal with it, no matter who you think you might be. You know what I mean? You don't know who you are till you fucking experience it.
I know it's very cliche, but like I honestly am who I am today because I faced that kind of intellectual, mental, social anguish and adversity more than anything. That adversity more than anything when I was a kid. Like that's why
I mean, when I was younger, like I've always been somewhat argumentative and things like that, right? Like,
Sure.
but I very much so when I got into like before, if I would have a discussion with somebody that sounded like they knew what they were talking about, like when I was younger, like, oh man, he sounds pretty confident in what he's saying and that kind of shit. I was very quick to be like, oh, okay, well maybe I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, kind of deal. You know what I mean? And I wasn't in it because I wasn't really rooted in my own. And I'd say more self-awareness really is it more than anything, right? Like, I wasn't exactly sure who I was, I think, you know, to that. And I think that comes with just aging, right? You start to kind of fit into that. You're like, oh no, this is who I am. And this is, you know,
trying to figure it themselves out. And you're trying like, is this okay that I don't like the most popular band in the country right now or whatever, you know, whatever it is but anyway, we'll jump off on that and this Twitter pedophile article and get deeper into that. But like I said, that whole Jordan Peterson thing, that was like the first time I was able to kind of piece together. It was like, no, people are searching for the cure the whole time without correctly identifying what the symptoms of this is. You know, so I got this band, the Frownies. If you don't know, if you're any of my homies from South Carolina from way back, punk band that pretty much my first real punk show that I ever went to were these guys, and they're awesome. But we'll play that in a Bill Burr bit when we get back, and I think we should be good to let the
roll through.
Fly. So
all right, well, we'll let them roll. If they boot us, you know, next week I think it's only for like 3 days at the first time, so hopefully it'll be like, you know,
it's between shows, so who gives a
exactly. We're good.
All right. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. Everybody, hang tight. More post politics coming up next.
Everybody getting in trouble. Like a bunch of children. I was doing a gig in Dallas and some waitress wrote on a piece of chalkboard. She goes, "We like our beer the way we like our violence. Domestic." All right? Yeah, I gotta tell you something. That's a great fucking joke. There is zero fat on that. You need every word of that joke. You take one word out, it doesn't work. It's a perfect joke. So whatever, nobody gives a shit. One person comes in, they don't like it. They ask the manager to take it down. He's just like, hey, you know, that's our sense of humor here. You know, have a beer, go fuck yourself. That's what we're doing. So she takes a picture of it, she puts it up on Facebook, and all of a sudden people start complaining, and they fired the manager and the waitress because of that. Yeah, like, I don't understand. Like, what do they think's gonna happen if somebody reads that joke? Like, you're some guy who would never hit a woman, you know? Would never hit a woman. You can't hit women. You can't. You honestly cannot. You ever see how they fall? They fall like toddlers, you know? It's like they never fell in their life. They never put their hands out. It's horrific to watch. You can't hit them, right? So what are you telling me? You're telling me someone who never hit a woman is gonna come walking in, read that joke, you know, just be like, wait a minute. That's the dumbest shit. Dude, they have all kinds of signs out there telling people not to hit women. People still do it. What do you think wife beaters are doing when they drive home? They're like so focused on hitting their wife, they got blinders on, they're not reading anything. They don't see that don't hit your wife. Billboard, they're still gonna do it. Did that get too weird for you guys? Did the church organs make that fucked up like I was up here? Make a pledge for Jesus and hit your women.
All right, everybody, we're back. Love Bill Burr. I think he's sort of he's a regular on Conan too, and I've heard him like on podcasts. Like he was on Tom Segura and Christina P's Your Mom's House.
Yeah, I watched that one.
And I thought it was hilarious. Bill Burr calling Tom Segura a psycho, like just like in a different facet.
They had like little crazy like snippets of it too, like who's more of a psycho, like it was good.
It's really good stuff. But I've heard like some of, I guess, of course not punchlines or whatever, but when he goes on things like Conan, which I think he does like practically once a month or two, go on Conan, Bill Burr does, and he drops like snippets of like the conversation to be had during his stand-up or whatever he's working on, you know, before the special comes out. And I can't wait to see the next one. I'm sure there's a lot of good points.
Oh, dude. I mean, honestly, dude, and we've been talking about this obviously for probably like, it's probably been fucking the last 3 shows, maybe 4, that we've been like referring back to Patrice O'Neal, right? But I've just been like, no shit, digging through like basically I don't think I'm going to be done until I've seen every Patrice O'Neal bit. Like I want to see.
You got to hear that one or subscribe to that one channel.
Oh, I am. Yeah, free, I'm already subscribed on that. Yeah,
that Weston or whatever. Yeah, that Weston YouTube channel. It's Patrice's appearances on O&A.
There's a couple more too. A couple other channels that are like Culture or something. There's a couple other ones, and I fucking obviously doing a terrible job of giving them any somewhat of a plug, but
right.
But it was actually a situation where Bill Burr had went, and you've probably heard this, but Bill Burr went on fucking Mancow's show, and he was on the show, and while he was on the show, Patrice called in because Patrice was doing that VH1 show or whatever, and when he calls in, Mancow starts going off on Patrice, like says something like kind of, you know, evidently I didn't even know this because I've never listened to Mancow ever. I've listened to maybe one episode of Mancow ever, you know? And so I'm just not somebody, I didn't know that him and Opie and Anthony had beef. I didn't know that was a deal.
I'll tell you in a second.
And so but so he goes and then he gets on there and Patrice is on for like a couple seconds and Mancow clicks the phone off. And during that, the little exchange between the two, Bill Burr had said like, hey, yeah, man, this isn't satellite radio. But he was saying it to like, hey, you can't curse, right?
Right.
And the way that it was portrayed to, and it wasn't from everything that I've heard, it wasn't, Patrice actually didn't say shit about Bill Burr. What it was is a bunch of Patrice's fans were like, Bill Burr hung him out to dry, that's fucked up. And then Bill Burr
hashed it out on O&A
later. And they hash it out on O&A, and it was really cool because, all right, and I will say this, at first, I'm like...
Comics that came up during the same time, by the way.
Yeah, they're good friends, and enough to where...
York, they were both friends in Boston in the comedy scene around the same time.
Yeah, and they both, any interview that you ever see of either one of them, they refer to the other as a very good friend of theirs. They're not,
Which, by the way, there's, speaking of Conan and all that stuff right quick, you can go look up, Bill Burr is the one that puts on the Patrice O'Neal benefit every year.
Oh, I believe that, yeah.
So
I absolutely believe that.
Every year, Bill Burr does this show, and all the money goes to, and he puts, all of their friends, Norton, Keith Robinson, Voss, Bill Burr, Bob Kelly, and they all go and do this thing, and they give it to Patrice's mom and Vaughn, who was his wife. You know, they give all that money to them every year.
It was really cool, though, the exchange between them on O&A because of the fact that you don't see Bill Burr's like, I'm a hothead and I fucked up a whole lot. But in that situation, you see the young Bill Burr being a hothead and fucking up and calling out his boy because a bunch of his boy's fans said some shit about him. And by the end of the conversation, you listen to the exchange between the two and you're like, oh shit, man. Yeah, no, I mean, even it ends with like... it ends with Patrice O'Neal saying to him like, "Okay, Billy, I'm sorry that the people that listened to me gave you I put out a vibe. I'm sorry I put out that vibe."
Yeah. During that conversation, by the way,
oh fuck, man,
it's great. Yeah. You will hear the most rational Patrice O'Neal that you hear anywhere. During that conversation.
And absolutely, you would not want to have a logical debate with rational fucking Patrice, dude, because he handles it so well, and you're like, fuck, dude, yeah.
But you hear Patrice talking at a therapist level, like, I understand that you feel like this, that was not my intention, yada, yada, yada. Like you never hear Patrice talk like that. But he did.
And it's cool because there's actually a point in there where you also see him do... Yeah, well, but you also see Patrice get real like street dude offended when it's only for a little burst, right? Is that Bill Burr goes, he says something, he was like, I was sticking up for you, and Patrice goes, huh? You ain't gotta stick up for me, nigga. Don't you ever say that. And just straight, and you're like, oh man, yeah. And that was the only part in the whole conversation where he was like,
so fuck them guys.
He was like, don't you ever say you were standing up for me, dude. Like, and it was real cool, man. It was an awesome conversation to hear, and especially as some guy, I'm like huge fan of both of them, man. And so it was really cool to see. But it made me understand a lot more too when Bill Burr talks now about, he's like, no, I just don't think about those things because I used to be a hothead and I've dealt with that, and now I'm just a lot more calm. And you see that situation and you're like, man, you don't get to take a peek into Bill Burr's personal life so much, or how he handles situations or how he was that much of a hothead, except for in that conversation. It was a real good dip into it. And you're like, oh, I see why he kind of had to chill a little bit, you know?
And we're going to, we got 2 weeks from today, we will do our annual Bill Hicks show. And it's a Sunday. We might just make it a psychedelic Sunday. Probably should.
Sounds perfect, yeah.
But Bill Hicks, 24 years coming up in just 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So we'll do that. And we'll try to not do any more long breaks on comedy, but me and Zack just can't help ourselves.
Yeah, dude, I'm sorry, man. I get lost in the YouTube comedy black hole so often.
I'm sure back in the day, niggas was talking about Plato, talking about Socrates, Socrates, if you will.
Yeah,
you know,
Socrates.
It's like, these are the people that we have to talk about of our modern day philosophizers. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, man, yeah.
It's like comedians. That's what it is. These are the only people that are still somewhat able to even slightly tell the truth without enormous
toting some kind of. Well, yeah, and also like toting some. Well, I mean, you don't realize too. I mean, how much Patrice had an impact on comics being able to say what they want to fucking say, dude. Like, but yeah, man, it really is, dude. That's like the last bastion of hope as far as like people saying what the fuck they want to say.
Yeah, he'll be continued to look at in reverence as the years go on. But I don't want to tease this anymore.
Yep.
Just getting into it. Social media sites can't decide on how to handle non-offending pedophiles. Pedophiles have used websites like Twitter to argue they're not evil, forcing social media platforms to decide how they're going to treat them. So this is an important article based on the fact that the conservative gig is up on these platforms. You know, if you the politically correct deal is already been decided for. So with each ever-growing social issue, you have to have these social medias and the companies that represent them take a hard line defense or offense against or for what they're going to do as far as this issue is concerned today, right? You know, because we all know it's a new one every day. It's a new. Is it okay to fucking bash North Koreans on Twitter? I don't know. You know,
let's find out. Yeah,
get on after it, folks. Find out. You know, you probably only got like 150 followers anyway, man. Fucking blow it up. You know what I'm saying? Just go for it. But no, that's kind of that's what we were discussing before the break too. You know, is that cure symptom issue. It's like you can't keep reaching for a cure in something that has no direct correlation to what you believe the symptoms to be without going like, why do we feel this way? The cause, not the cure. You know, a search for the cause, not the cure.
No, I mean, dude, there's
that
even
ultimately leads to the cure, by the way, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, dude, there's even like I had to go back and look for it because I came up across this on the break, just looking through Instagram, and it's actually Danny Panzella. I'm not a huge fan of him personally, but I follow him on Instagram, and this is a great point that he's making.
I believe, right quick, and we've had him on the show plenty of times. I don't agree completely with Danny politically.
That might be it. Yeah, I might have put that a little bit rough too, though. I like the guy. Yeah,
I honestly believe him to be a good stand-up dude.
Yeah, I like the guy. That's not.
I'm sorry,
but no, I appreciate that actually because I would have let that go and it would have been like, no, dude, I don't dislike him. I didn't mean it that way. I disagree with him on a lot of his political stuff.
Sure, but I believe him to be a good dude.
Absolutely. But it was a guy, and this is out of CBS Baltimore, and it was a dude that's like, a man was previously convicted of having sex with a 4-year-old girl, has been elected as the fire chief in a western Pennsylvania town. And the town's mayor is standing by the fire company's decision. And Danny Panzella, replies to their tweet and is like, no, CBS Baltimore, he didn't have sex with anyone. He raped a 4-year-old. And it's like, dude, that's absolutely true. Like, dude, they're even in the media enough to say, like, had sex with a 4-year-old. And you're like, get the fuck out. No, he raped a 4-year-old. That's not like, you don't have sex with a 4-year-old. This isn't even like, we're not even talking discussions like, oh, she was 16 and, so what's the difference in 2 years? Like, no, you're talking about a 4-year-old. So like, you can't even bring up this, like, you can't even argue that. There's not even a good stance to come from here. You know what I mean? And it's just absolutely crazy that we live in a world where somebody actually wrote that and was like, okay, well, yeah, I just want to be kind of careful. So I'm going to say had sex with a 4-year-old. And you're like, dude, no, that doesn't happen. You can't just have sex with a 4-year-old. I think it's fucking crazy. And you look at, like, we live in a time where, like, NAMBLA is a thing, and they, like, have websites, and people, they're like, well, if they want to do what they want to do, and you're like, no, what the fuck are you talking about? It's crazy to me that we can have this conversation. You know what I
guess,
mean?
and we do got to get in the meat and potatoes of this article here, but you're absolutely, like, the first thing that you have to admit to yourself, like, this is the AA of on the the pedophile issue, is that there is no helping you.
No, dude.
There's no helping you. You are a flawed individual that needs to be euthanized. We don't need you. We got too many people that already.
I appreciate the fact.
I would take stupid ass fucking people over pedophiles. As far as
you.
All right, pedophiles go to, like, in the King of the Ring, like, tier in the Sweet 16 of the NCAA.
Dude, I mean, honestly, I'd take most murderers over pedophiles. Right. You know what I mean?
The complete drag idiots of society beat out fucking pedophiles to the next round every fucking time.
Yeah,
right?
Dude. I mean, the most vile human beings you have ever met and shit like that are locked up away. If they see a pedophile, they're beating his ass because they have no respect for that shit. Like, I mean, you're not going to. It's just not something, and that's why it's crazy that we have this group of people now that is so set on protecting people from, and which is crazy, right? Because when you're like, oh, I'm an anarchist and I believe I should just be able to do whatever I want, right? People are like, well, that's just crazy. How will you support society? How will you support society? I mean, you drive on the roads, right? And people will make that argument to you, but they're also, those same people making those arguments are people that are writing articles about having sex with a 4-year-old, you know, and you're like, oh, what? Get the fuck out of here. No.
Right. Yeah.
It's crazy. It is.
So, let's dig into this a little bit. When Ender Wiggin is this guy's name. All right, give it to you.
Should have known. Yeah. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Read another word.
There's fucking problems. We already know. Yeah.
Wiggin.
Yeah. Okay.
That sounds like a derogatory term for like somebody from Sweden or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's a fucking Underwiggin.
Yeah, fucking Underwiggins.
Was banned from Twitter last December. It wasn't because he was a far-right troll or Nazi sympathizer. In fact, Wiggin had an army of pizza gators harassing him all hours of the day, insisting he kill himself right up until the moment his account was disabled on December 14th. That's because Ender, a.k.a. Enderfile, what is his Twitter handle, Enderfile.
Oh, wow. So he's been, like, just embracing that whole
fuck this guy
file thing. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. That's where we've come, by the way. I hate to start stopping this fucking segment here, but, like, that's where we've come. Pedophiles are a new oppressed fucking demographic in this country, I guess.
Nah, dude. Like, that's when your fucking crybaby tolerance has fucking went too far. You know what I mean? Like, you're like...
That's why we brought up Jordan Peterson and all these people. That it's not that we, like, identify with them, quote, politically or ideologically, so to speak.
No, they're fucking logical human beings.
We're starting to see the pendulum start to swing back the other way, and we're getting to see the muster of the what this social justice, everybody's offended counterculture has to offer. Like, how far is this willing to go before?
Is it just me, or am I in a, like, I mean, maybe I'm in like a little fucking tube here where, like, I only am seeing things that you know, from, like, the right side of the spectrum, because that's normally what I've listened to in the past, right? Or is there not a lot of people on the left bitching about the pedophile stuff and things like that? I haven't heard a whole lot of it, and like I said, I haven't looked into it. I haven't looked into it a whole lot either.
Right.
But I haven't heard a whole bunch of screams from the left about how fucked up the pedophile thing is, and about how people
concern them. There's more pressing issues, like like the gender pay gap.
Like there being fucking like there being fucking 8 genders and
kids that women don't want to go into certain fields that pay more. That's what's more important than people fucking kids.
Well, I mean, if you can, maybe the 4-year-old identified as a fucking 25-year-old. You know what I mean? Like, is that might be the issue? You know, I mean, if you can identify as a different sex, I don't see why you can't identify as a different age. You know,
right?
That's fucking. I don't know, dude. I really just don't.
It's saying I identify with a 16-year-old, so I can fuck 15-year-old girls.
Yeah. So I mean, if you, yeah, right. Like, nah, dude, I'm totally. It's acceptable now because I don't identify. I mean, yeah, I'm 34, but I don't identify as that.
Dick or nothing, but I would like to see that kind of a thing play out in fucking court, though.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, dude. No, I mean, and that's the thing, man, is that I think when given like real like law, real shit like that, where it's taken out of the media scape, right? I think people are going to approach it differently. I can't see a judge being like, well, he identifies as a pedophile, you know, and you're like, I can't. I mean, that's when we got to start shooting people. I don't even I mean that with all. I mean, no, dude. If you start having judges that are like, yeah,
you have nothing to offer a progressing society.
No, I mean, like if you have judges that are letting people like that, like off, like dude, just start popping them. There's no reason we can't. I'm sorry. Like that's the only time I think I've ever said that we should start killing people. But if you just like legally start letting people get away with that shit, like, nah, dude, we got to start killing people. That shit ain't gonna fly.
To see a lawyer like try their damnedest to portray that of like, well, he has an emotional capacity of a 16-year-old boy, you know, like yeah. I would love to see that. But anyway, let's get on here. Enderfile, the pseudonym for a non-offending and anti-contact pedophile, someone who is attracted to children but claims to be against adult child sex and child pornography. Okay, because that was my next question.
Well, here's my thing. Then couldn't you just shut the fuck up?
Right.
Like,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Stop. Yeah.
You're not the hero of your community, guy. Okay,
yeah, dude. Like, I mean, like that's the thing. Like, if you like whatever you like, but you don't have to tell everybody about it. Like, don't give other people don't give the sorry bastards that can't hold their composure about it, right? Like, so say this guy is just absolutely 100 externally, he's completely respectful. He never does anything wrong as far as pedophilia goes, right? Like he never does anything like that. Never acts on his impulses.
Looking at my kid with those fucking eyes, regardless of whether you go home and jerk off to fucking child porn or fucking or actually do something physical to a kid. Like, sorry, sorry, guy. Sorry. You are the dregs of society.
No, I mean, but here's my thing. We all know, like, from us having this show, things like that. We all know that, like, talking about things gives people strength, right? Like knowing that there's other people that are going through the same thing, type of deal, gives people strength. And when you're going out here and being like, it's okay to have those feelings, and like, dude, it's not okay. All right, like you may have some it's not okay. Yeah, it's okay to have those feelings internally, I guess, and not fucking act on them, not do anything about it, because I have no control over what's going on inside people's fucking heads. Right, I say that just because I have no fucking idea what's going on inside everybody's head. Right. But don't speak up and give them strength. Like, don't fucking give those people, oh, well, there's a lot of people out there like me. Like, nah, dude, fuck you. Dude, shut that motherfucker up. Yeah.
You're not the mouthpiece of a non-offending pedophile community. Sorry, bud.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
but anyway.
No, yeah.
And of course, and here's the bad thing is
we finished the article. We're never going to touch it.
Well, I've pulled a lot of this stuff, and we'll hit break here in a second. But I've pulled a lot of articles lately from. It's very hard to find something that I actually give a shit about that is not something from a very left-leaning, on the front page, left-leaning fucking news outlet. But I've also started following a handful of these because I regardless, I think they spark interesting conversation, such as this one. Yeah. And I love a lot of stuff that Vice does, but they're fucking column writers. You know, they come out and say, except in the case of accusations flying around a certain failed Alabama senator, pedophiles are a natural boogeyman for the far right and social media war between the two groups that's been going on a long time. It's like, no. No one's really like, you politicize pedophiles. That's the way to get people to really buy into the fucking bull.
No, I mean, obviously, Republicans only like pedophiles when he's a Republican pedophile. Like, no, dude, well, find me those motherfuckers and let's kick his ass too. I'm not. I'm not. I don't give a shit what party it is. It's fucking stupid. It is. It's dumb that we're accepting that there are people that are out there saying, I am a predator for the weakest, most vulnerable fucking sect of society. Like, and people are like, oh, well, that's okay. But if we have a dude out here that robs people, we don't like that guy, right? Like, we can't. He doesn't just have a problem with beating the shit out of people or robbing people. Like that. Nobody's like, oh, well, he's just a violent man. You know what I mean? This is a man that likes to beat his wife. You know what I mean? It's just a thing. You know, he has that. We can't, you can't solve it. He likes beating women. That's just his way. You know what I mean? But here's, here's the thing. Why is it that you can't be a misogynist, right? If you're a misogynist, which means like, listen, I'm a non-violent, non-confrontational misogynist. I just think men are better than you, but I'm not going to hit you for it, right? Like that man is shamed, but we'll stand up for pedophile. Get the fuck out of here, dude. That's craziness.
In the 1800s, it was legal for a man to beat his wife with a stick no longer than his thumb.
Yeah, yes. That's the rule of thumb.
Well, we can't do much with that now, can we? Perhaps it should have been rule of the wrist. It's one of my favorite lines of all time.
And it's the opening scene, dude. It's so good. Yeah.
Dude, Boondock Saints is like one of the best films ever. I'm just saying.
Yeah, hands down, dude. Yeah, it's definitely in my top 5, without a doubt.
I reference that.
Dude, we need to have like have like another bullshit like media day where we're just talking about rap and fucking rock and movies.
Wednesday, why not, man?
I'm down. Yeah.
It is kind of bad to sort of like start out our YouTube channel based on that. I don't think that's I'm just saying like I don't care.
Yeah.
I just think for like what we normally do.
Yeah, it's totally not on topic. Yeah.
It's totally not on topic, but it's like we do got to push out a lot of this stuff, and me and Zack like doing it, and we hope you do too. And we usually get on a platform reverting it all back around to where it should be as far as what the show is actually supposed to be about.
But we're gonna we trail for a minute too.
I think we do a decent job, but okay. Times.
Yeah.
Pause.
Yeah.
I got one more little quick tidbit on this, and then we will get into the rest of the bullshit after the fact. Once we come back from break. We are going to pause or mute the YouTubes, but if you're listening at one of our other fine affiliates, such as Journalistic Revolution, Raz Radio, Salty Talk Radio, Radio Chaos, or IPM Nation, you can listen to the jams that we play. So I'm going to do our bit of stuff that is totally not okay to play on the YouTubes right now. So we'll be back in about 7 minutes, everybody. Stay tuned. More Post Politics coming up next. That pretty much sums up the show.
Dude,
like,
I love that track, dude.
Bad of scrubs we are. We're just like...
I'm awesome, bitch.
Guess what? I'm awesome, and I'm scrub life, bitch.
Yeah.
Scrub life. Fuck you, I love scrub life, you know?
And I'm totally fine with it.
Right?
Yeah, yeah.
We live scrub life around here.
That's how we do it. Ain't
I'm a proud shitholder.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. We got to wrap this up. Holy shit, man. Okay, so Twitter has permitted these pedophiles to exist and operate on their platform, advocating for the normalization of pedophilia, says Grant J. Kidney. Kidney is the guy's last name. Okay,
Dude,
Grant.
what the fuck's going on with these people? Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, obviously, Ender was the guy's sexual orientation or whatever the fuck you call it, but yeah.
He will also leave you in a bathtub with nothing but ice. Party, by the way. But a self-described nationalist and Pizzagate conspiracist running for Congress in 2020 on pro-MAGA platform. I guess MAGA, that's a fucking, I don't know. I guess
that's the Make America Great Again.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah,
He campaigned for months to get Ender removed since he says pedophilia isn't something to be championed. It's an illness. He's right. You don't have to be pro-Trump or fucking Make America Great Again, to say, like, this guy's right. That's the problem. And that's a lot of what we've been talking about in and out of the context of this article tonight is that you don't have to be, once again, we pride ourselves here at Post Politics on the gray area platform to have the discussions that everybody else is not having on the topics that
or having them in acting and speaking in just absolutes about either, one side or the other. I mean, there should be a middle ground in there, and it's not discussed very often in popular media, at least for the most part. But it being an illness and acting like
it's okay.
I see good and bad with what he's saying, right? Like it's an illness, like but don't start acting like, oh, it's an illness, so we can't fucking, you know what I mean? Like I can't be mad at you. It's like I don't even know whose bit it is. It's probably Bill Burr too.
You don't have dementia, okay?
Being an alcoholic is the only disease. No, that was Mitch Hedberg. The only disease you can get yelled at for having, right?
Absolutely. That's a great.
It's absolutely like one of those things where you're like, nah, it's fine, but like you call it an illness, but like don't bring that fucking illness around me or fucking, you know what I mean? Like there's a whole different deal,
I found alcoholism is the only illness you can get yelled at for having.
Yeah. Nobody's like, Grandpa, you got the fucking cancer? You know what I mean? Like, yeah. God, I see you got cancer again. Yeah.
An asshole.
Yeah, exactly.
So this article goes on and on and on. But yeah, it's like they're having this sort of conundrum over at Twitter and other social media platforms for people that advocate for being pedophiles in description, in dictionary form, in definition, but don't act upon it.
Yeah, no, I don't. Here's my thing: don't act upon it, and also shut the fuck up. Like I don't like I.
So like Like I've got to say this, and of course I'm not going to put. I've got somebody in my family that is an older person that is gay.
Yeah.
But they're also like strict Catholic. Never had a an encounter or any of that. But it's like that's what I am, Yeah. But they and I've got to applaud them because like that's somebody that's like sticking by their beliefs. Now you could argue and say, yeah, jihadists believe in what they're doing too, but just hear me out.
Yeah, but what you're saying though too is that he doesn't act on it because he believes it's wrong. So like that's the whole thing of like, yeah, jihadists maybe, but it's wrong obviously to act on it just by fucking societal standards. So
that's not like an illness of, okay, a consenting adult. You're basing that off of your own platform, of your own thing, of consenting adults, not like I'm attracted to
Yeah,
children.
like, I mean,
Like that. Like that's a whole other beast. Is I guess my point. But I like I said, I've got somebody in my family that does that based off of the fact that they are feel like how they feel, but their beliefs are I'm a Catholic boy, and we
don't do that.
I'm sorry, but I can't act on it.
Yeah, and that's my thing. Like I
don't know if he's a tortured soul. He's a great person. But
yeah. No, I mean, I'm sure I would have to assume that that's not. I mean, obviously, it can't be easy, right? Like it can't be. Yeah, it can't be something that makes you. It can't make you feel good. It's got to be bad as far as just everyday life. That's got to suck. But it's also one of those things that, dude, like you're not. It's definitely not talking about the same thing, right? Like it's not you're definitely not saying like, oh well, I'm attracted to raping men. That would be different, right? Like
exactly.
You know what I mean?
I'm all for, like, I'm really attracted to taking people's will away from them. Like, hey, talk to any fucking politician. There's no fucking difference. I mean, other than the fact that you're victimizing children, if you talk to any politician, the sentiment is the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, and I mean, that's kind of the thing too, is that like
taking people's will away from them.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's exactly what I was saying too with with beating women and shit, right? Like nobody would allow that to be the case. You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, well, no, it's totally okay if you like beating women. I totally get it. That's just a part of his psyche. He's got a disease where he likes to beat the shit out of women. It's not an acceptable thing. It's obviously not okay. My thing is that when did we get so fucking screwed up in our society that we made people feel like they wouldn't be completely shunned for even bringing it up? Like, listen, dude, like if you know it's wrong, like then you don't do it. Like, period. It doesn't mean you got to get out there and make other people that feel the same way feel comfortable. Like, no, dude, you shouldn't feel comfortable with that. There are certain feelings that you may have or things like that. We know murder is wrong, all right? So if you have a feeling like you legitimately want to kill somebody, you don't go around being like, dude, it should be okay to want to kill people. Like, you don't do that. There's not like a big group of people out here trying to make it okay to fucking just, to have serial killer thoughts all the fucking time. You know what I mean?
In our camp, I'll speak for us as a show and something that we've advocated for more than once. And I'm not just talking pedophiles. I'm talking about a lot of things. Is like we are in the camp of when did this not be okay to beat up, kill, etc. Like, oh, we have to we never brought this up. The fucking gymnastics coach, and the guy was like, here's a justice ruling. And you know what? It's not cruel or unusual punishment, by the way, which is the only thing not letting that judge make that fucking sentence, by the way. We all saw it last week, by the way. That was everywhere last week.
Yeah.
The guy was like, I would like part of your sentence for you guys to leave me alone in a room with that guy for 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay. How about 1 minute? And then judge goes, that's not how our justice system works, blah, 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 blah. No, it is, by the way. If you say that in 1847, that would have totally...
Yeah,
but
no, I don't even think it would have gotten to a fucking court case. Yeah,
it wouldn't have gotten to a court case. And guess what? Our point as a show here is no one bats an eye. So we really want to get back to the point of understanding that, hey, guess what? Nobody's gonna bat an eye if you rid the fucking world of these people that have victimized your children or killed your spouse or whatever. Yeah. If you want vigilante justice, great. We don't have
and
to.
If you're talking about like
for them for another 30, 40, 50 fucking years as a society to have some like, oh, well, we value all human life. Well, that person that doesn't. So
yeah, look, if you need help with your fucking pedophile urges and shit like that, if you need help with that, go talk to a fucking psychiatrist. They already have laws out there protecting you for being able to say those kind of things to a psychiatrist and them legally not being able to report on it because of doctor-patient confidentiality with unless you commit a crime. So cool, you didn't commit a crime, and you have these problems, go talk to a psychiatrist. But the moment you come out here and start telling me that you have feelings of raping children, then fucking sorry, dude. Like, I there's a certain point to where, like, oh, no, but you don't hurt people that don't hurt you. Like, no. But I also, I have a bigger job from that, is to fucking protect my kids. And if you're talking about raping kids, dude, I'm sorry. It's just not I don't know. I really don't know why it's a debated fucking topic. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to get into a logical debate about it and be like, well, yeah, but you're saying that it's wrong to assault people who haven't, assaulted you. Absolutely, it is wrong, and I will take the lose on that. You know what I mean? Just chalk up a big L for me on that one. I'm going to go beat that motherfucker's ass. You know what I mean? Like, that's the way I look at it.
We try to make sure that you guys hold us accountable here, too. I just wrote down an excellent idea that I had. If you guys are new to the show and you haven't heard, me and Zack are, when all goes belly up, we're going to become pedophile hunters, by the way.
Absolutely.
Might even have a fucking very distinguished reality show if we can sell that. I don't know if the current climate of the country we can, but we're going to try, I guess.
Because we'd be the bad guys.
I'm thinking CBS Thursdays. Possibly.
Thursdays work.
We're gonna try to sell it for like 5 nights a week. We'll go out just slay.
That leaves us with Saturday nights off. I'm good on that.
Just like inside of like maybe a month or two, we could slay probably like 100 of these cocksuckers, right? And then just have them film it. So we'll take that time off.
Yeah, dude. If we take out like 2 a day, right? That's 60 right there. That's that's well over a season, right? I mean, I think you're only looking at.
I don't want to put you out any, but we got to figure out how to fill up these time slots. Yeah. Depending on how many nights a week we can have.
So y'all heard it here. Go ahead and start bookmarking those Twitter handles.
Bookmarking,
so we can find those guys later.
We'll send out the PayPals and all that stuff. But what I really want to do, I just wrote this down. I want to do a promo for us, and it's a pedo hunter promo. And I want Ghostbusters. Yes, we're back. Remember
when it becomes a little bit more acceptable? When it becomes a little bit more acceptable, like, I mean, I'll even let you choose the weapon. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah. Yes, we're back. Ghostbusters too. Like, yeah, we're back in business. No problem. What's going on, Lee? Pierre, Mel? What's going on, brother?
I just got in from working all day, man, trying to pull these side jobs and nail down a little bit of cash, and wanted to chime in and say hello to you boys. I didn't know exactly what you had on the docket tonight or anything, man. I shoved a quick bite of food down my throat and grabbed my first beer here, and literally just sitting down and took my first green hit. Oh, it's so nice. It's so nice. And I just wanted to chime in and say hi, to see how you boys were doing before my daughter gets here. She's coming over, and got all this family stuff going, as you know. And
yes, sir.
Well, I figured I'd stop in, and at least if you guys had nothing else going, then I could tell you a little story. So
I'm good for it.
It's story time with Lee here.
Let's do it.
Go on, brother.
Did you guys know that I used to be a school teacher?
Man, I feel like you're about to bullshit me real hard on this, but I'll take it. Yeah, no, I did not know.
I'll play along.
Yeah, I'll go with it.
I used to be a school teacher, and one day I told the class that I would give them a star for the day if they could say their name in phonetic syllables. So right away I went to Johnny Jones. Or right away, I went to, it wasn't Johnny Jones. It was fucking, but Johnny Jones is there. He's going to be a part of it. Trust me, I'm going to fuck this. I'm going to fuck this up at least once.
He is already fucking the joke up.
Nah, shut up, Johnny. No. Sit down, Johnny.
Now, right away, I went to the hardest name in the class. The hardest name in the class was Archibald Barisal. And he goes, nope, I need an example. I said, fair enough. And right away, I went to Johnny Jones. This is where Johnny comes in. God damn it. So went to John Jones. John Jones did stand up because he was an A student. He said, you got your J-O-H-N, you got your John, you got your N-Y, you got your N-E, you got your Johnny. I said, you got your J-O-N-N-Y. J-E-S. You got your Jones. You got your knee Jones. You got your Johnny Jones. I said, very, very good. So I went back to Archibald. He goes, hell no. Need another example. So fair enough. So I went over to Mary Smith, and Mary Smith stood straight up because she was an A student. She said, you got your M-A, you got your May, you got your R-Y, you got your Ree, you got your Mary, you got your S-M-I-T-H, you got your Smith, you got your Ree Smith, you got your Mary Smith. I said, very, very good. Went back to Archibald. He's like, all right, fucker, you asked for it. You got your A-R-C-H, you got your arch, you got your I, you got your B-A-L-D, you got your bald, you got your eyebald, you got your arch eyebald, you got your B-A-R, you got your bear, you got your bald bear, you got your eyebald bear, you got your arch eyebald bear, you got your A, you got your S, you got your ass, you got your bear ass, you got your bald bear ass, you got your eyebald bear ass, you got your arch eyebald bear ass, you got your O, got your L, got your O, you got your asshole, you got your bear asshole, you got your bald bear asshole, you got your eyebald bear asshole, you got your arch eyebald Barasol. I said, very, very good. Takes a little while to
yeah, dude, I couldn't do that.
What you just said
There's no way
is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone in this room is now dumber for having listened to it. May God have mercy on
get
your
it off
soul.
my chest if I say it, once every fucking couple of years.
Honestly, I applaud you for.
I was actually just impressed you pulled that off. That was
exactly. Yeah. Putting that all together is actually very commendable.
The fact that you actually you walked into it like you were just gonna fuck that joke up completely with the Johnny Jones, and you walked out of it me going, oh shit, I can't believe he yeah.
I've gotten in fights over that joke.
Lee fucked up the name.
Going, you're not really a school teacher. No shit, Sherlock. He
delivered it perfectly and fucked up the name before the joke even actually began.
No, but even then screwed up the name Johnny Jones and then walked all the way through Archibald whatever. I already lost the last name. Barasol.
You know what Lee had the cadence of right there, by the way? Lenny Bruce.
Oh, yes.
That's exactly how Lenny Bruce tells a joke. I guarantee you. Go look up any old Lenny Bruce book joke.
Yeah, that's true.
Like, that was the cadence of Lenny Bruce, ladies and gentlemen.
But not that that's what I was shooting for, but
I'm just saying it was very well put, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. I have other stories. I have tons of other stories.
As your experiences as a school teacher, or
no. I could tell you a story about the last time I was in Portland.
No, thanks, sir. You want to do an article with us?
Sure. Let's probably do that because that story's uninteresting. It just involves jocks and pickup trucks and rocks.
You mean life? When you're talking about us, anyway.
Well, there's squirt guns involved too. I mean, it's kind of an entertaining story. But
okay, life for us at 7, 8 years old. Yeah. Okay.
No, this is at like 22.
Anyway, I definitely wanted to get on this because we started off Wednesday night and we never really got through it.
Right on.
And this has stuff that I didn't even know was actually enacted as far as laws go. Now, I think this girl is a little bit of a I think she smokes Newports. I'm just gonna say that.
What's wrong with smoking Newports, nigga? Shit.
I think she smokes Newports is all I'm saying.
Gary Coleman's rolling over in his cooler.
Right.
Yes. Oh man. Can we snag that one
all
for
right,
a soundbite, please?
Fucking congratulations, sir.
Dude.
You're welcome.
Oh man. Okay. So this girl that I think smokes Newports, but victimhood of police sexual abuse, no laughing matter, of course. But okay, here we go. This teenager accused 2 on-duty cops of rape. She had no idea the law might protect them. You don't say. When Anna said she was raped by 2 on-duty cops, she thought it would be a simple case. She had no idea she lived in one of 35 states where officers can claim a detainee consented. You
Are
heard
you fucking shitting me?
I didn't know this until I read this article.
Oh, I think I'm a puke.
35 of our 50 glorious states here in the United States have a detainee can consent to fucking a cop, and a cop that has the custody of, quote, a criminal. Let's be honest here. That's what they, that's what.
Yeah, that's what they're claiming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why would you be a detainee if you were not a criminal?
Yeah.
And you could fuck that detainee and just say, they said it was cool. Right. You just ruined my life. Want to fuck?
Yeah.
That's
that's the logic.
Yeah.
I'm going to start hitting on female cops saying that probably, by the way, too. Just like, you just ruined my life. Want to fuck?
Is Jeff Sessions writing these articles?
Consent. Yeah, no shit.
No,
I mean,
sir.
really. Because that's about as logical as that is.
He might be partaking in them, nonetheless.
Yeah, dude.
So, let's roll through this, and then we're going to hit a short break and end the show on the back end. But there were 2 of them, both plainclothes detectives over 6 feet tall and powerfully built, flashing their badges and asking questions. There was weed in the front cup holder, along with a pack of Newports. I put that in there.
I was about to
as
say,
soon as
dude,
the
you were
detectives
right.
ordered the 3 occupants out of the car, as Anna later recalled, the detectives handcuffed her, told her friends, both young men, they were free to go. See, now this is fucked up, okay? All jokes aside.
More fucked up than a pack of Newports?
Two dudes.
How about that?
Get out of here, because we're about to fucking take this chick over the hood of the car, basically. Then she said they led her, a slender woman just over 5 foot tall, into the back of an unmarked police van with tinted windows. Inside, Anna said the detectives took turns raping her in the back seat of the van as the van cruised the dark streets, and as she sat handcuffed, crying and repeatedly telling them no. Between assaults, she said, the van pulled over so the cops could switch drivers. Man, hearing that is greasy as fuck, dude.
Dude,
Hearing that put in text.
I'm looking at the screen on this, and text
regardless
is one
of
of
the
those
jokes we're
states.
making or whatever.
I mean, all jokes aside, that is just some greasy shit. I mean, even as greasy it is hearing Tripp say these things, it's still just a greasy situation that no young lady should be enduring. And this is what happens when you give stupid badge wearing fucking suit dummy fucking junk ass fucking roid hounds fucking little positions of authority.
Yeah.
So handcuffed the whole time. Now here's something that's even like
either that or she was on Bang Bus.
Well, no, exactly. Now here's something even a little bit more legitimizing to her claim here is less than an hour later, a few minutes drive from where it all began, the detectives dropped Anna off on the side of the road a quarter mile from a police station. Surveillance footage shows she stood on the sidewalk, her arms wrapped around her chest, looking up and down the dimly lit street and pacing slowly before borrowing a cell phone from a passerby to call a friend. So, with weed in the car, 2 male suspects are let go. One is raped by multiple cops and then let go. What kind of justice system is this that where you just let a weed addict go on the streets without now I bring all this up just to say that, by the way, her claims against these 2 officers is I think I would say, yes, I had weed and I was smoking weed in my car, and these cops picked me up, let 2 of my passengers go, and then raped me.
Dude.
Yep.
and didn't book me for my fucking sycophantic weed charge, right? You see where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I thought they were supposed to be cleaning up the streets and taking care of everything,
Zack?
making everything safe. Yeah. No, I'm.
Is Zack there?
Dude, I'm evidently. Y'all hearing me here?
Yeah, okay.
There you are.
Oh, now we are.
Well, fuck, you weren't. I even said a couple other things in there. Thought you guys were just ignoring me. No, you're good.
No.
Couldn't hear you.
No, man.
But-
I think it's crazy. And actually, I just looked up the map on this whole deal that's on the story, and Texas is one of those states that allows this shit. It's fucked up, but it's one of those things where you're like, dude, yeah, we've got if marijuana, if drugs are such a fucking issue, why wouldn't you have taken her in? Yeah, shouldn't you be taking her in so you can help her with her issue rather than sex gets you out of that. Sex gets you out of issues.
Even if the state wants to play a bullshit ass charge, you know what I mean, and say like, oh well, they didn't rape her, then shouldn't those cops be in trouble for not booking her on weed charges?
Yeah.
If you play the other end of the aisle on this,
no, I
right?
mean, but here's the deal: shouldn't everybody be offered sex to get out of a charge? If that's the case, if you're allowed to, like
Hey,
I mean,
if more people offered me sex to get out of doing things, I might be a little bit happier.
She might be breaking the law even more. You know what I mean?
Well, you know,
I'd be like, can I get a, ma'am? I understand the charges. Can I get a hall pass from my wife?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Give me a female cop. It was like, you know, hey, I'll clear you off a place to sit down. I'll start wiping the beard clean. I'll tell you that right now.
Babe, I might be going away for a calendar unless I get this shit done.
Yeah,
now,
gotta take care of this right here.
But I'll do whatever you want. You put the pressure on her. You go like, babe, I'll do whatever you want. But
however you want me to handle it, honey. Yeah.
But I ain't trying to follow Nasty Nate in September. Just ain't happening.
Yeah,
might be. Squirrel, I don't know if Squirrel Master's gonna have my back.
Like a
when
naughty jungle of love.
666, the mark of the beast.
No, man, it's really fucked up, and it's crazy because these are like the things that you see that are like undercover. These are supposed to be like the things that you see in like television series and shit, right? Of like the horrible things that cops sometimes do, and now this is now being brought to light, and the justice system is actually defending them on it. It's fucking
guys party. There's like a black guy and like I guess a dude of Italian descent. They're the two cops, and
but they're not like even like.
Look, they look like they're about to drop the hottest album of.
They do though. They do.
You know,
but they're like regular looking dudes. They're not like I mean, you expect like when you hear stories like this that they're gonna be like some dudes that just couldn't get laid type of deal, right? And you're like, dude, these are like regular looking guys.
Right. They're not 5'6" big fat pig fucker.
No, these are guys that are like legitimately did this to exercise their power. I mean, that's what it was. It was
cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, that's
cocaine or methamphetamines. I mean, methamphetamines more drives you to that wanting to rape somebody fucking type of feeling.
Aggression will not stand, man.
You know, that's the thing. These Zack hit it right on the head, man. You know, these guys are just trying to exercise their authority, use their little power chips. People get off on that. They're called sociopaths.
Yeah, absolutely.
The extreme, you know, and I'm a bit sociopathic myself in the fact that, you know, I just fucking hate everyone, and all of you people fucking sicken and disgust me. And it's perfectly amusing and all right for me to fucking make fun of you in each and every one of your fucking small and little plights. You know, I'll break on them up. I'm up for hater of the year. You know, Suki Johnston ain't got shit on me. I'll break on a motherfucker because he's got more than me. I'll break on a motherfucker because your grandma died. Why your grandma got to die, man? My grandma died 10 years ago. What the fuck?
As I sip my drink, I'm sure somebody spit in. I just want to say, I hate all you nasty motherfuckers. I hate you. I hope you die. I hope all life happened to you and only you.
I don't even know you, but I hate your guts.
I don't even know you, but I hate your guts. All right, hey Lee.
I got to bounce on out of here. My daughter's getting ready to come in as well, though. So
love, thanks for chiming in and hanging out with us for a little bit tonight. And Friday night super show. J Rev. same time, same place as this show, just on Fridays.
You know it. Except we're not on YouTube because I don't want to scare you guys that much.
Oh shit! Fucking, you don't want to catch.
I am not as pretty as fucking the post politics poster boys right here, man. Tripp and Zack, and these boys. I tell you what, can we get a calendar of them?
I can't even disagree with you on that.
Some nipple rubbing going on. And
I mean, maybe back in the day, I could have given you a run for the money. But now, I'm old and Merle Haggard, man. I've lived my life and seen the strife, man. I've been to the top of Space Mountain because I have been Space Mountain. The longest line has always started right here, son. But you boys, I'm glad to see that you boys are in the next generation, man.
Well, Lee, I'll tell you what, man. We will give you an October platform in this calendar, and you can catch Lee Peer on the post-politics calendar halfway through a fucking werewolf transformation.
There you go.
He is going to fucking set October on fire for you guys.
Growl.
Are you werewolf-loving motherfuckers?
I am the zombie wolf. I love you boys, man. Have a great show. I'm the mouth, and I'm out.
Later, brother.
All right. Lee Peer, Friday Night Super Show, 9 o'clock Eastern here on JREP Radio. You don't want to miss it. Oh, I went on a brutal attack of Lee a couple weeks ago with that. I was like, you motherfucking halfway through a werewolf transformation, motherfucker. Like, oh, man, it was great. It was good. It's good stuff. Okay, so we're going to do some overdrive, a little bit. So we're going to go ahead, hit a break, and we'll go for as long as we care to on the back end.
This is a no YouTube break or what's
YouTube break. Fucking just let it roll, killer.
Let it go. All right, it's open.
Let the good times roll.
There we go.
We're not playing any cards tonight, but we'll be back in just a handful of minutes. Everybody, stay tuned.
I'm the one that can't get it. I'm the one that can't see. But I know there are people out there who don't get it like me. I'm the one that's uncertain. I'm the one that can't tell if this dream's all that's cracked up to be or another version of hell. I've opened up now. I broke the silence with honesty. I took the lashing for being way too into me. Call me selfish if you want, and I totally agree. But isn't it your selfishness that keeps you coming at me? And I'm the one that can't get it. I'm the one that can't see. But I know there are people out there who don't get it like me. I'm the one that's uncertain. I'm the one that can't tell if this dream's all that's cracked up to be or another version of hell. I've opened up now. I broke the silence with honesty. I took the lashing for being way too into me. Call me selfish if you want, and I totally agree. Isn't it your selfishness that keeps you coming at me? You could have your cake and eat it too, if you only knew you weren't doomed to that fate. You could have your cake and eat it too, as long as you ask, don't just take. If it's on someone else's life.
one that can't get it. I'm the one that can't see. But I know there are people out there who don't get it like me. I'm the one that's uncertain. I'm the one that can't tell if these dreams all it's cracked up to be, or another version of hell. I'm holding on now. I broke the silence when I stayed. I took the lashing for being way too into me. Call me selfish if you want, and I totally agree. Isn't it your selfishness that keeps you coming at me? It keeps you coming at me, and you could have your cake and eat it too. If you only knew you were doomed to that fate. Yeah, you could have your cake and eat it too. As long as you ask, don't just take. If it's on someone else's plate, and you could have your cake and eat it too. If you only knew you were doomed to that fate. Yeah, you could have your cake and eat it too. As long as you ask, don't just take. If it's on someone else's plate. Banging blood, sweating prayers, feed your soul. We're accidents, we're holes and bricks, you're not alone. We are fucked over. On this job we've been told.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And dude, I want to bring this up just right quick, just as a quick little tidbit, tip of the hat, if you will. We've seen, I mean, we just started this YouTube channel. This is the second go round that we've had as far as full shows on the YouTubes. And if you miss this show, fucking our JRev stuff just randomly throws out what we've built up as far as, you might catch a Friday Night Super Show, you might catch a Journalistic Revolution show, you might check out Post Politics, whatever. But this YouTube channel will have our show up on YouTube.
Yeah. And it'll have the date right there on it. So yeah.
If you miss the show, fucking biggity bam. There you go. No problem.
You might not be able to close your phone while you're listening to it if you don't pay for the YouTube Red, but that's all right. That's how I listen to my YouTube.
That's what I do on the way home and to work every day. Like, I'm catching up on my talk shows that people upload, checking out The Bonfire with Dan Soder and Big J. Okerson, checking out Jim and Sam, and I'm listening to that shit. And the replays here on JRev 2 on the way to work. That's what I do, so you can check that out there too. And by the way, our tune-in numbers, I didn't bring this up to you before off air, but over the past couple of weeks, huge spikes on the nights on air. And that's just one platform too. So we fucking
hitting them all.
Thank you guys for hanging out with us.
Much appreciated.
We're here for your entertainment. We're like fucking dancing.
We don't. I mean, we'd still talk to each other if we couldn't. But it's nice to know there's other people listening.
Nice to know there's people give Kate. Oh, I really appreciate what these guys are trying to say. Oh, thank you, because we spend a lot of our time doing the show. So a lot of our personal work that we're not getting paid for. We just want to know that you fuckers are listening. So it's pretty much that's our reward.
There you go.
Yeah. Oh, dude, I want to bring this up too. So you know what I got into? I finished up. I'm basically patiently waiting God of War 4 to come out, right?
Oh, yeah. And the previews of it look fucking awesome.
Dude, 420.
Yeah. Dude, I'm waiting for Venom, dude. I want to see the Venom movie. That's my shit, man. And I'm
getting
a little discouraged about it, but yeah.
We'll get into all. I think for Wednesday night too, just to do what we've already kind of set aside the plan to do.
There.
Absolutely, we're gonna bring back our subculture segment and really tear it wide open. But I might actually call off 420 for work and be just like, not going in today.
Not gonna do it.
Not gonna do it. Usually it's like, okay, I'll of course have a good time on that day no matter what. But I usually go into work the past couple years. It's been a couple years since I've called off for 420, but I think I just might do it. I just might take my kids to school and then fucking come right back to my home and fucking go to GameStop and pick up my pre-order of God of War 4 and fucking get barbecued.
Yeah, it sounds like a damn good 420.
Me and the dogs and getting barbecued playing God of War until the kids get home, and probably beyond that continue to play it. So that's I'm making reservations is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But so what I started doing, I've got the PlayStation Now thing, right?
Yeah.
So I started playing Mafia 2 yesterday. I finished my God of War Chains of Olympus and the Ghost of Sparta, and I finished like all of those, and so I was like, okay, let me just kind of cruise around and see what's on this PlayStation Now as far as like new cool games or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm usually not too big of a fan of these games, even though I've owned them, but I heard
Mafia 2 is I've never played it, but I hear it's hands down the best of all three of them. Is Mafia 2 is the best.
I don't know about that because this is the only one that I played.
Yeah,
but it's essentially it's a lot of like your Grand Theft Auto, esque type game, and I've played a lot of Grand Theft Auto. I much more prefer this Mafia series to what there's objectives, there's things to accomplish. It's not as you can do freeform, but it's not as much implemented
Yeah,
and
it's not. Yeah, it's not a. It doesn't kind of push you to kind of do your own thing so much. Yeah,
it's not as encouraged to do that free form, do whatever the fuck you want, and here's a bunch of things that you can go do if you want to.
Yeah.
And the storyline is really great. So I was like, my wife had her friend over last night, and they were like hanging out back, and I was like, I'm getting made,
Yeah, hell yeah.
To make me, it's a really good fucking.
No, I've heard it's really good. I played Mafia the first one, and I was not crazy about it, but then I just kind of missed the rest of the series. But I do watch like game reviews and a couple like different gaming channels and stuff like that, and everything I've heard about Mafia 2 is just it was a great game. Like story, gameplay, everything was awesome on it.
That PlayStation Now is kind of like like Netflix or Amazon in a way, where it's like you can just kind of go through and throw your shit on the list.
Well, see, they've got a game out that's on all platforms, and it's a free to play game, but it's called Smite, and I am fully addicted to Smite, and it's like
what is that?
So Smite is like it's called a MOBA, and I'm gonna screw this up on what exactly MOBA stands for, but it's like a massive online battle arena, I believe, which is
like an without the A.
Yeah. It's basically what it is it's called Battleground of the Gods, and what it is all of the characters you can pick are gods from different pantheons, right? And then you are put in like these objective arenas, basically, where you've got one team versus the other, and it's really like it's very skill based, very like. So it's one of those like you get into it, and for the first like couple levels, you're probably getting stomped. Although I mean, it puts you in with like you get with people that are of your same skill level or whatever at first.
Yeah.
But you still like you start playing it, and you've never played a game like it before. You're like, what the fuck? I'm getting stomped, and it. But now, like I mean, these guys have leagues for this shit. Like people get paid to play this game. It's that big of a game, Yeah. And at level 30, you can start playing competitively, and I am level 29 right now, and am like, dude, I mean, it's one of those that, like, Sam sitting behind me, and I'm, like, screaming over here, like, I fucking got him, you know what I mean? And it's one of those games that announces, like, triple kill, and then when you kill everybody on the other side, it calls it a deicide, right? So it's like deicide, and Sam will be like, "Ooh, was that you?" I'm like, "Yeah," yeah.
The other thing, like, so I wrapped this up last night, and I was playing it like a majority of yesterday. I played it again for a little bit today, but this Mafia 2 game, but like Brittany had her friend over here for like a long period of time, and I was like, you cool? Like, I'm always like, hey man, if you want to watch one of our shows or whatever, like that's what me and Brittany usually enjoy doing. But her friend was over here, so I was like, well, I don't want to be like totally like antisocial or whatever, but like I'm on this, like, so
I'm doing this shit. Yeah,
if you're cool, I'm gonna continue to play this,
Yeah.
So I did, and she comes in and she's like, I love when Brittany is like having as much fun watching me play.
Yeah.
That's something I've definitely never had before. So there's certain, of course she doesn't like sitting there watching me just like waste my entire life away on it or whatever. But when I do play and she gets to be a part of it for a couple minutes and watch that, she's like, this is intense. She's, she'll like just be like, this is intense,
dude.
Like we're watching a show, like
that's what's gotten me.
So
that's what's gotten me, dude. Is like, it's hard for me to play those single player games anymore because I've gotten so now like into just the competitive nature of like playing against another person to where it's like, and especially, and I'm just talking about this game here, but it's one of those like now like. I'm playing, and it's a very team-based game. Like, if the other 4 people you're playing with suck, then you're gonna suck. So it's very like I love that competitive. Oh, dude, I love like the only thing I hate about it is toxic ass community. Like you'll end up, you know what I mean? Like if you get somebody that's amazing, and everybody else is just mediocre, then you get that guy that like, oh, you guys suck, that kind of deal. You know what I mean? And I hate that fucking like, yeah. But other than that, dude, I just love the competitive aspect, man.
See, I love the competitiveness. What I don't care for, like I said, whether I'm the best guy in the room or the mediocre guy in the room, or completely
or just garbage,
yeah, whatever. I don't like the have to rely on other people, and that's true in life and like in games like that. Like I never want to be the guy that has to rely on somebody else to do their fucking job.
Yeah. Oh, well, I mean, and see, that's kind of the thing. And that's what's, I don't know, that's what's kind of cool about them, too, is that if you do your job, it's clear that everybody can see you did your job. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's one of those, and it's like, oh, no, look at my shit. I did what I was supposed to, you know?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, and especially in a game aspect.
Yeah.
In a game aspect and a real life aspect. I don't
I can totally see you getting frustrated as fuck at this game. Yeah.
Dude, we're losing because you don't do your fucking job. That is my job day in and day.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to be the guy that goes, we're losing because you suck at life.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, I don't want to be that guy. And I don't want to be the guy that everything falls on, but I'm going like, if it all falls on me, I am much more comfortable going, it's all going to fall on me, even if I have to do extra work or do whatever. I would rather it have all fall on me and knowing that it's within my realm of capabilities to take care of it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Than to rely on somebody else that says, yes, when what they really mean is I could give a fuck less.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
It's not that guy. I'd rather take care of it myself, man.
Yeah, for sure. I understand that. Nah, man, and that's kind of my now there are times like where I'm like, all right, dude, no, I can't do this. But that's what's kind of cool about it. You're like, all right, dude, I can't do this right now. I'm getting too fucking pissed. You know what I mean? Like I had to set this down for a second. You know what I mean? But yeah,
gotta wait for a minute. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I do. I like the. I mean, it's cool about like now we have like other little things that get you away, and I realize like that can be poisonous to some certain extent, right? Like that people don't read books when they get away anymore. Like they're doing shit like this instead of, But I think the arguments that people make for video games and stuff are just as legitimate as the argument people make for books. You know what I mean? You're still learning shit. You're still taking in things.
You're staying engaged with a conversation and or dialogue that is happening. Yeah. Whether you're reading those pages off of a book or listening to Zack and I speak right now.
I mean, I would argue that actually a lot of these games, and predominantly those games like what you're talking about, like the Mafia games and other games that are like first-person scenario-based games like that, I would argue that a lot of times, man, those games go more into detail and more into a story than a movie or a book ever could, because of the fact that like you're going into the detail in some of those games, like The Witcher 3, man. I played that game and it was one of those games that's like, they're talking about making a movie of it now, and if you look at it, it's literally like, dude, it's gonna be hard for them to make a movie on this. There's so much involved in this that how are they gonna fit that into 2 hours,
Also, being a player in a game like that, you are also like very much personally invested in it more than just wanting your character to pull through when you're watching.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, you think about it. It's one of the big things.
You are an active participant in making this happen.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that people promote the most of about books and things like that, is you get to see from somebody else's perspective, and naturally makes you a more empathetic person because you've seen what it's like on the inside of somebody else's head. Well, in a game like
great fucking point, dude.
Excuse me.
No,
but yeah, you're actually playing as that person. You are literally inside their head. So I think, it lets you see different perspectives. It lets you see a different outlook on the world that you wouldn't have seen otherwise, which is really fucking cool.
And I'm in a fucking battle with an Irish gang too, by the way. So I have a somewhat of a racial and moral conundrum.
Yeah, right. You're like, man, I gotta kill all these mix, but I don't want to kill all the mix.
Right. Yeah. When I was in jail, I was fine with it because I was fighting Chinamen, if you will. But
you know what I mean. And I mean, most people can't relate to Chinamen, It
was a lifetime ago, But was,
Yeah,
you know,
I was still a kid then. You know,
right, that was 8 years
I
ago.
was just coming back from the war. You know what I mean? I didn't know.
Right, exactly. The storyline I'm talking about was 8 years ago. You know, but
that's neither here nor there. I've been through so much since then. You know.
Well, we're gonna make a definite. I honestly don't know how that's gonna work on YouTube. We're gonna try. I think that is honestly gonna be the biggest prep for us for Wednesday night show, is to try to maneuver. I know if we talk over songs or movie,
It's a 30-second. You can play anything for 30 seconds as long as you clip out at 30 seconds. Like we can do 30 seconds of any kind of bit from anywhere, as long as it's not over 30 seconds. So I mean, honestly, if we have to, I will sit over here with a little stopwatch, and at 26 seconds, I'll click mute and then unmute that bastard. I don't care. There's ways around this.
Awesome. Yeah, I know some YouTubers that do that with replaying radio shows that I like to listen to.
Yeah,
too.
they'll play like 30 seconds, mute it for a second, start it back up.
Yep. So we're gonna that'll be the hardest part of what we're gonna do for Wednesday night show. So yeah, I think we should just kind of make a plan to do basically what the past 15 minutes of the show was. For 2 hours on Wednesday. Yeah. So we love you guys. Thank you guys for hanging out with us. Please, what is the actual official? It's Post Politics with Tripp and Zack, or
it's Post Politics with Tripp and Zack. I mean, it's the with is just the W/, but if you type in with, it'll still pick it up just fine.
Absolutely. Yeah, you guys can find it. And the more videos we put up, it'll be easier to find as well. So, there's already our last video that we did is some more than has already done more views than some of the things that are on my personal page from 6-7 years ago.
Yeah.
So Yippee-yo, number one. We'll catch you guys Wednesday night, and please, like I said, go like that YouTube page if you will.
Subscribe.
Fucking hit that little bell, that dingy there too.
Yeah, we'll let you know when we're live.
I don't know how that shit works out too well, but I did it just to kind of beta test all of this, and I'm getting the notifications when we are live on YouTube on my cell phone. Yeah. So go do that and hit that little bell and say, like, get notifications when Post Politics is live. That way you skip the middleman. If you're hanging out at home, you already got your Wi-Fi hooked up. You're good to go. You can watch me and Zack make assholes of ourselves and fucking, get it grinding on the whole deal, the whole new platform we got. So let everybody know, hit subscribe, do all that stuff.
Share that shit and all that fun shit.
Zack did. I can't say enough. He did a lot of hard work on this.
Yeah, man. There's still more coming though, so we'll keep it going, man.
We want that to be a success. So everybody, please go do that. Encourage everybody to do the same, and we will catch you guys Wednesday night, and we'll do just pretty much a 2-hour. Yeah, because we haven't done it in a while.
Dude, it's been almost a year at least.
2-hour subculture segment. Who gives a fuck, right?
Yeah. It's our show. We can do what the fuck we want.
Right. Now it's called Post Politics. You think we got to talk about this dumb shit all the time?
Yeah.
No.
We have a little bit of fucking fun,
Yeah. It's all for naught if you can't have a little bit of fun.
Goddamn right.
All right. So, let's see. What do we want to roll out with? Something that we can YouTube.
Really, dude? You could do anything, and I'll just make sure I cut the YouTube stream at 30.
You don't need to.
Deal.
No need to. We'll just roll out with this. Much love. See you Wednesday.
Deuce.
Same time. clear. You
so
muted.
I gotta unmute Skype and the thing, so I forget.
That's cool. Why did you get a